What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 15 of Skins in the Game, where John and Tim go into what's going on in the DC sports world. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We actually have something to report or talk about.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Well,
Fair enough.
It's not really sports related, but it is Redskins related, so.
Yes, it is. But before we get into the Redskins, okay, I kind of wanted to bring this in because it's kind of a meme topic, okay? But at the same time, it is a DC sports topic, okay? And it's the fact that the Wizards are so bad, okay? They started in 9th place at this restart. They are currently in 10th place and lost a spot to a team that's not even playing. They have lost.
How do you think that other team feels? They're like, we could have done that.
Oh my lord! Like, seriously, like, this is incredible. Like, and so right now they are sitting behind the Hornets with a worse winning percentage. So they do have one more win, but they also now have 4 more losses. So now they have a current losing percentage to put them in 10th. And if they lose the last 2 games, which I don't see any possible way they're going to win these games because they are so bad, and that would actually put them at a worse percentage than the Bulls. So the Bulls will now move up to the 10th spot, and we could finish the season in the 11th spot, which begs the question, was this their plan? Because now this actually gives them a better chance at a higher draft pick.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, like, we could get Hachimura a chance to play some. He's getting some good minutes, right? We don't have Beal. We don't have Bertans. We don't have Wall. We're not going anywhere in the playoffs. So why even try to make the playoffs? Let's just lose every game. And then we're going to actually end up in 11th place instead of 9th. And we get a better chance at a lotto pick.
Well, that's still 11th is not going to put it that far up, right? Or is that 11th out of 15?
Yeah, it's 11th out of 15th.
Okay.
So, yeah, but the Pelicans were not the worst team when they won the lottery last year. I mean, obviously, the more chances you have, the better you have. And the worst team only has something like a 13% chance at getting the pick, or 12%.
Yep.
So that 87 or 88% of the time, it's not going to be the worst team in the league. So it actually could work out in our favor to lose this many games, but I just thought it was hilarious that I looked at the standings today and see the Wizards in 10th place instead of 9th place.
Yeah, I have to be totally honest. I have watched 0 Wizards.
They're not very exciting this year. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not. So.
Yes, they're not very good this year, but it is still funny to talk about. But now we can get into the real news of our beloved Redskins, a.k.a. now the Washington football team. And that is...
No, wait, time out. A.k.a. here is still the Redskins.
Yes, we all love our Redskins. Speaking of which, I forgot to put on my skin shirt. You rushed me into this. You rushed me into this. Yeah. Just to let everybody know, Dad's like, well, this needs to start at 7 o'clock, and if it's 7:01, he gives me crap. Okay? I tried to get... And I started it at 7:00 today, but it did not work out where I forgot to put my skin shirt on. But it's all right. Wait, I got my Redskins sign in the back.
I was going to say, how often do you wait to put your Redskins gear on until after you start doing your final notes?
I mean, usually I'm already wearing it, but I clearly just grabbed any shirt out of my drawer today. But it's okay. We'll get through it.
Blame me for it. It's okay.
Dad still got his wine, so we're not completely out of control, you know. But, all right, so we have Derrius Guice released by the team hours after Guice turned himself in for domestic violence accusations. And I'm going to use the term accusations, alleged, claimed, things like this, because I do believe in innocent until proven guilty, but I will say the evidence does not seem, that we know so far, does not look good for old Guice. So
It's rather overwhelming, yes.
yeah,
But I
it's
understand. It's alleged until it's not alleged anymore.
correct. Okay, because he apparently is vehemently denying the accusations. It's like he is saying that this is completely fabricated, made up, and he's crapping on the team for cutting him so quickly, things like that. But the charges against Geis right now are 1 count of strangulation, which is apparently a class 6 felony in Virginia, 3 counts of assault and battery, and 1 count of destruction of property. And this all apparently happened on 3 different occasions, one in March, one in February, and one in April. And they all occurred at his home. So it's alleged that his girlfriend alleged that he strangled her to the point she passed out, and she woke up to him crying and tapping her to wake up. She also claimed to. Oh, good.
Before you go
Yeah.
into that, let me just say that it's those kind of details that makes it more credible.
Yeah.
Because the fact that she would go out of her way to say she woke up to him crying, tapping her to wake up, is a little bit. Usually, that's an indication that when somebody knows detail like that or gives detail like that, it adds credibility to it. But who knows?
Yeah. I mean, she could be one heck of a liar, but I don't sit on here. As I said, I think the evidence is not pointing out or going to be turning out good for Derrius Guice. So she also claimed he pushed her to the ground, which caused a popped blood vessel in her thumb to then have the nail eventually fall off. And then another one was that he slapped the phone out of her hand, or took her phone and threw it out in the middle of the street to actually have it shattered, which is the destruction of property claim. So, and this is really bad. Washington Post reported that his girlfriend took multiple photos of the incidents. So she has photos, I guess, of her bruises, scars, damages, whatever the case may be. So this is the kind of stuff that I agree. Like, not only her detail, but I think, having photo evidence is definitely going to help her case as well.
Yeah.
So Ron Rivera was asked about the decision to release Guice, and here's his quote. He said, "Anytime you have to release a very talented player, it's always a tough decision. We take those allegations very, very seriously, and we had to make a decision. I talked to our players yesterday that I made the decision, and I believe it is in the best interest of our organization. And if it was the right decision, we will benefit from it. And if it not, it'll be on me. I will take full responsibility going forward to make sure we do things the right way." Which I do like this about Ron Rivera. He always takes responsibility for everything, and he just owns up to everything. It's not. He didn't say he did say he talked to different people, but it's it's my decision. It's not, oh well, multiple people in our organization, came to the conclusion and we all thought about it together, blah blah. We all came into it's like no. Nobody else's opinion really matters. This is my decision. I released Guice. If he ends up becoming a Hall of Famer somewhere else, it's on me, basically, is what he said.
I respect that about him.
Yep. And he was also go ahead. Do you have anything else?
No. What were you going to say? He was
No.
Also what?
So he also was asked about players like Cody Latimer, obviously with shooting the gun, and Reuben Foster, who has also had domestic violence accusations against him in the past. That, basically, what about these? What's different here? And this
All
is
right.
just,
So I'm sorry, I didn't know, but let's break this down because it's a couple different issues. And yes, we'll get to talking about them in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, first of all, I don't know what Rivera knows that maybe someone else doesn't know about this whole situation. I will say my knee-jerk reaction when I heard it was good. I'm glad to see the Redskins saying, we're not dealing with this. Don't care who you are. It sends a message across the team that you could be a high draft pick, you could be a lowly scrub. We don't care. This is the team, and what you're doing is a detriment to the team. You're gone. I appreciate that. If this comes out where it's less definitive than it seems to be right now, and that, let's say just hypothetically, his girlfriend is exaggerating at the very least or making things up. Not saying I believe that, so don't
Yeah.
kill me, anybody. I'm just hypothetically.
Yep.
Then if it basically if it progresses and the police department takes a different, if this kind of comes to life, easy for me to say, then there was, after I had a chance to think about it, would it have been wise to say, hey, don't like what we're hearing. This is a problem. He's suspended indefinitely, and he's not allowed on the property until this thing gets squared away. And then basically send Guice away, say that, and I know he doesn't want the distraction, but would that have been as effective to say that right now you are suspended, you are not allowed on football or Redskins facilities, and you need to stay away until this thing's cleared up. And then if something comes out more definitive, then say, okay, we've got more news, you're gone. I don't. Again, it's an honest question. I don't know the right answer to this because it sounds like if she's got pictures, I will admit that strangulation sounds serious. Pushing down and causing a blood vessel to pop on my thumb sounds a little bit more over dramatized. So it seems to have both angles in it. But that would be the only thing that I could find potentially a fault of Ron Rivera, is if this comes out where it's not as bad, it's not a Ray Rice kind of thing, and that there's more nuance to it, that maybe he overreacted. And again, suspend him, kick him,
right.
Say, just like you would do in college. If something happens, it's like you are suspended and you're removed from the team until you get that squared away. Then we'll talk to you. They could have gone that route. But again, Ron Rivera might have more information that says, okay, this is a cut and dry case. We're done. And that's fine. But that was
I
the
agree.
only fault that I could say.
Yeah, I was definitely on page with, the team could have access to more information than we have already. Maybe they have insiders in the police department or something. They know more information, but they did do it really quickly. It was within a couple hours or something that they decided to remove him from the team. But I had the opposite reaction because as I said, I do believe in this innocent until proven guilty. So I was kind of thrown off by automatically releasing him before the evidence actually comes out and before the trial and different things. But I would say I had mixed feelings on it because that the team's been through so much, and potentially harboring a woman beater or a woman strangler in this case, is not the cherry on top that you want on your organization after the 15 women that accuse you of sexual harassment and mistreatment, obviously the name change, everything else going on today. This is not really the cherry on top that you want. So just cut it off. So at the end, I agree with the decision as well. I think that this was the best move. Just, it's unfortunate because I really liked Guice. I wanted him to play. I thought that there was an opportunity for him to actually get some good carries this year, good production this year. But I do agree that, and also what helps this situation is our running back is one of the stronger points on our team. So this is actually this is not necessarily a position of need either. Maybe this is the receiver, like Cody Latimer. If this is a receiver, you're maybe a little bit longer leash. Crap, we kind of need him.
That's right. That's where I was good. My next angle of my other take to this is the possibility. First of all, poor timing one way or the other for Guice, because you're right. What was going on with the organization to have any kind of bad things involving doing something to a woman was unfortunate. At the very best, was unfortunate timing for him. At the very worst, he's a pig or whatever you want to call him. But here was what I was thinking, and to your point of the Redskins being strong at running back, that maybe that Ron Rivera coming in said, yeah, Guice is interesting. He's got a lot of talent, but he's a little bit of like glass, that he attracts injuries, that he's 2 for 2 in seasons and injuries, and maybe not that he was looking for this opportunity. Don't get me wrong, but maybe this opportunity presented himself, and trying to change the culture that he was able to do very swiftly, because maybe he wasn't even in Guice's camp. Maybe he likes other guys that don't get injured, and he's thinking Guice is not my guy. So maybe he takes the opportunity to very swiftly and with no thought saying, this is one of our top draft picks, and he screwed up, he's gone. And he can look at every other player in the locker room and say, this is you. If you do this, I don't care who you are. Trent Williams, don't care. Derrius Guice, don't care. You disrespect this, or I don't know if disrespect is the right word, but you cause affect the reputation of the Redskins, you're gone. No questions asked, done. And he can use this to send that message. And like to your point, if they're strong in the backfield, I'm not saying running backs are a dime a dozen, but they're not quarterbacks, and they're not necessarily.
Oh, I'm saying running backs are a dime a dozen.
Right. Okay. Well, I wasn't going to go that far, but you get my point.
Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan proved that many years, that they literally took people that you've never heard of, Tatum Bell, Peyton Hillis. Maybe you've heard of him because of course, the Cleveland Browns year where he was on the cover of Madden. But people that you don't really ever hear about, and they're 5 yards a carry running back in his system. So no, there's obviously a higher tier. Like there's not Saquon Barkley's everywhere. There's not Zeke Elliott or Adrian Peterson. Le'Veon Bell. Yep, he's another one. Another great one. But as far as a running back that could be effective, that you could get 4 to 5 yards a carry, yes, they are a dime a dozen out there, and there's a lot of capable running backs. But to your point, as far as him not being Ron Rivera's guy, it's been reported by multiple sources, and I got it from ESPN's John Keim, who covers the team, that Carolina had removed Guice off their draft board in 2018 due to both his injuries and his character. So
there you go.
Yeah, just talk about how he was not Ron Rivera's guy. Yeah, he clearly was not, because he was the coach of Carolina, and they yanked him right off the board. They were not looking at him at all, because he was actually.
That's an interesting piece of information. I didn't know that. That is very telling to me.
Yep. So it was very, very interesting. And Guice was, like, on a lot of people's boards, as far as a talent, like a first round talent running back, maybe a late first rounder, not a top tier, but a really good running back. And we got him late in the second round because of all those concerns. So it just stinks to have another second round pick gone. Our second round pick history over the last 10 years or so has been absolutely atrocious. Like, nobody signed a second contract here. You have Trent Murphy, who was okay, gone. You have, what's his name? The linebacker. Preston Smith, I believe, was a second round pick. He's gone. Obviously, you have atrocities like Sua Cravens, who decided to retire after one season. Gone.
That's a little. I don't blame that on the Redskins necessarily. He slipped a bit.
Oh no, I completely blame Scott McCloughan, because Scott McCloughan did no research on these players' character or like personalities or interest in football. Because Josh Doxson was that same year, and Josh Doxson does not want to play football. Speaking of Josh Doxson, real quick, we don't have to go into it too much. Did you see that he opted out of this season?
I'm shocked.
Yeah, opted out.
Really? He's not the first one to practice and the last one to leave? No.
Yeah, but no, I completely blame Scott McCloughan, the GM that season, because I just want football players. I'm just looking for football players. Give me football players. And he did not sign football players. His first and second round pick were not football players. They were good athletes, but they did not want to play football. And both of them are basically out of the league, because you could just say Josh Doxson just opted out. So both of them are not even playing on a team this season. And but this just stinks to have another second round pick. And this was probably one of the most touted second round picks for us. Like, a lot of people had high expectations for Derrius Guice at running back, and he is now gone from the team, and this just stinks to have another second round pick gone.
Well, and again, I understand what you're saying. I can't argue with you. But between drafting Guice and where we are now, Dan Snyder, for better or for worse, decided that the front office that I have in there and the coaching staff that I have in there is not working, and we are going to completely clean house, basically. And you now have a guy in there that said Guice is not the guy, and took the first opportunity, and not a bad, I'm not saying it was a weak opportunity, but took the first opportunity to say, problem, gone. Now he doesn't have to answer, well, did you not like Derrius Guice? Imagine if nothing happened and then he was like, Derrius Guice is not my guy. Then he's got to answer 100 questions about why.
Yeah.
What was it about Derrius? Now it's like, done.
It's easy. Yeah. And he did mention that, he hopes that maybe, a change of scenery for him. Like if it comes out that nothing happens and, maybe a change of scenery helps him, maybe he won't have injuries somewhere else. And, maybe it'll be a good turnout for somewhere else.
Which translated is, didn't like the guy. I'm glad he's gone. I hope he's successful somewhere else.
Yep.
Rivera says all the right things. You have to give him that. It's like, yes, maybe a change of scenery. Yeah, not on my team.
Not on my team. That's awesome.
Maybe a change of uniform to anybody but my team. You'll do that.
Yeah. But anywhere but here. Well,
yeah.
The other angle to this is when Rivera was asked about players like Cody Latimer and Reuben Foster, who have also had histories, that basically, what about them? So much of a question is
okay. And just to refresh my memory, which one was Corey Latimer? I know we had the two guys. One was in the apartment, and which one?
Cody Latimer was apparently in that poker game with the dude that may have assaulted his son.
The apartment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Apparently left and came back with the gun. Apparently fired the gun in the direction, did not hit anybody. But yeah, apparently there was a dispute somewhere there. I haven't quite followed up with it as far as, I don't know if there's any new information out yet, because I don't even know if the court date has gone and passed and whatnot. But basically, yeah, it's an ongoing thing. But yeah, he was the one that potentially was playing poker with somebody who assaulted his son. Yeah, which is nuts.
Well, and my initial feeling is I wouldn't necessarily batch or group Cody and Reuben together. Now, granted, we all know how things work, and maybe his girlfriend, Reuben Foster's girlfriend, I think it was his girlfriend. They rarely get married, but that maybe she realized, hey, this is my meal ticket, and I'm going to rescind this. But if I'm not mistaken, the charges that went against him, she came out and recanted. So the charges were dropped, and they did a investigation. And with these types of crimes, the state has the right to carry, even if you say I'm dropping the charges, if the state has reason to believe that there's a sufficient amount of evidence, they can carry the charges without your, misdemeanors and smaller things. If you want to drop the charges, you can drop the charges. But if you're physically assaulted and somebody brutally beats you and you say, I want to drop the charges, the state's attorney has the right to say, nope, you can't drop the charges. We're carrying them even without you.
Right.
So it was a pretty serious, from what I gathered or remember, it was pretty serious allegations. The girlfriend recanted and said, I was upset. It didn't happen like that.
So that's not completely accurate. So she did recant. Yeah, she did recant, but that was the first accusation. So there was an accusation in the spring of 2018 that apparently happened where she got pushed and different things like that, or abused in some way. Then that accusation she recanted, which kept Reuben on the 49ers. Right. And then it was in November, I believe, where they were going to Tampa Bay and they had an incident in the hotel in Florida where he apparently pushed her, knocked the phone out of her hand, and apparently open hand slapped her, was the accusation. And that one was just dropped based on lack of evidence, according to the Florida what do you call him? Florida State Attorney Andrew Warren. He apparently dropped the charges for lack of evidence. That one she did not recant. And
Okay.
we don't have to go into too much to detail about Reuben Foster's thing any more than that, but it's just, I just thought it was weird. Why are you back with the woman who apparently lied to police to steal your money? Like, that's basically what she said. She was like, I wanted to ruin his career and basically cash in. That's why I lied to you. It's like, if that's true, why are you back with this woman?
All right, couple things. First, love makes you do stupid things. Trust me, there's a whole long history of both guys and girls doing really, really stupid things for love.
I'm not saying it's implausible. I'm saying it beyond ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, you have somebody that's literally trying to ruin you. I know if that happened to me, if Selena came in here and tried to steal all my money by lying to the police that I beat her, like, there would be serious
no, I get
problems in our relationship. Like, what?
And I know it's a different thing, but what makes a woman that a guy, what didn't Ray Rice's girlfriend that he knocked out, didn't she stay with him?
Yeah, it's crazy. I still think it's ridiculous. I know it happens. I still think it's crazy. I know it happens. I do know that this is some sort of psychological hold over them that causes them to want, or like to need to stay, or almost, or whatever it is. But it's still a crazy concept to me. Well,
and make no mistake about it, I believe that if it comes out that Derrius Guice, and granted there's more than one instance, so I'm not saying I believe there's a big chance of this, but if it comes out that Derrius Guice, and you can't ever say innocent because you don't know, but if Derrius Guice is not guilty, and for whatever reason insufficient evidence, and there's other questions that come up, then the Redskins made a mistake. Not because I think he would have helped the team, but because then the players are going to say, okay, something happens like that, you don't have my back. So it could backfire. And again, I'm not saying I believe it's going to happen, but if it comes out where Derrius Guice was somehow railroaded and ends up going to another team, that the same message that I guessed or speculated that Rivera had, which is, you screw up, you're gone, I don't care who you are, now it could backfire on him to where the players are going, wait a minute, he was innocent and you didn't have his back. If something like that happened to me, you saying you dropped me in a heartbeat and I don't have, you have, so there is a potential for backlash. But I think with Reuben Foster, Lattimore is still in question. It seems a little bit more strange, but nonetheless, Reuben Foster had one case dropped against him, another one insufficient evidence. He went through the process, he was done, and he became, the NFL said you're eligible to play again, and the Redskins picked him up. That is different to me.
And he wasn't the one that picked him up.
Right.
Yeah, so he was already on the team when he got here. It's like, okay, well, It seems like no evidence came from that, blah, blah, blah. Even she recanted it the first time, whatever. Like, so I guess he could say things like that. And no, it's definitely a tightrope he's going to have to walk as far as like, okay, if he comes out innocent, how do I handle this? I do think he can pretty easily handle it of like, look, the Washington Post was reporting that she had photos of the incidents, like she had details of the incidents. There was apparently 3 incidents. Like there was a lot of evidence going against him. Also, as we talked about before already, the 15 women accusations, we didn't want that to be held, the cherry on top, as I said, blah, blah, blah. So I think there is a way that he can handle it where it won't cause the problem in the locker room. Also, he's a player's coach. I mean, this one incident compared to 53 others where he clearly has all the players' backs and is a great leader of men. So I think I'm not too worried about that, I guess I'd say.
No, and just let me be clear and put a cap on this subject that I have confidence that Ron Rivera didn't make a mistake. He knows something that I don't think Derrius Guice walks away from this like, oh, everything was made up. I don't believe that for a second. So I think Ron Rivera, either through his gut instinct or what he knew that we don't know, knew this was an issue and decided to nip it in the bud. And whether or not he just said, hey, this guy, because let's face it, maybe Ray Rice for the Ravens was considered a more valuable asset by the coaches, so they gave him the benefit of the doubt right up until the point that they couldn't. But make no mistake about it, I believe that there is definitely part of this that, no, I'm not railroading you, but I had enough information, and you're really not my guy. See ya. If you're a superstar, then I'm going to give you a little bit of lean because, man, you really helped my team. But that played into it too, and that's all I have to say. I know we've covered this for a while, but
yep. No, I mean, it was a big story. It was a big story, obviously, coming out of this. But right on into another Reuben Foster discussion. He was activated off the physically unable to perform list. Yeah, this could be huge for the team, for the Redskins, because Reuben Foster has a ton of talent. Like, even with his
no doubt
character concerns, he was still drafted in the first round because he also had, there was multiple arrests prior to being drafted, that he was still drafted in the first round, and the 49ers even traded up to go get him because this guy has a lot of talent out of Alabama. And what's also cool is that he's on a contract year because the Redskins did not pick his rookie fifth-year option up. So most players on a contract year are ready to go all out to get that payday the next year. Yeah. So he could be a potential comeback player of the year candidate.
Could be, as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, what was it, Achilles? Did he do both?
No. It was his knee. He blew out his knee in one play.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking. But did it happen to him twice, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, his was the domestic violence issues that we just talked about. So that's why he was not on the team anymore. Blah blah blah. And then when he got here, it was the first practice where he blew out his knee. So no, this was not a double knee guy. It was one knee. But Derrius Guice was the double knee.
I'm jumbling my facts. Sorry.
But no, so I'm excited about this Reuben Foster. I thought he was going to make the team. I thought he was going to be healthy enough. It's been long enough since his knee injury, and this could be a big deal for this Redskins defense. And in a Jack Del Rio defense, he could be a fantastic middle linebacker for your 4-3 defense. Yeah. Like, you need a great player in that middle linebacker spot, and he is a great player.
Yeah. And hey, I think the weightlifting competitions that we saw early on, and I don't know, maybe this is commonplace around the NFL, and maybe it's not that unusual, but if this defense starts coming together and then starts trying to outdo each other, working out, and gains a bunch of strength, I think we have a potential for a very, very scary defense this year.
Absolutely. No, this defense is good. There's like a slight holes as far as young linebackers. Corners are a question mark, but the front four are fantastic. Reuben Foster is one heck of a middle linebacker. And then Landon Collins is a fantastic strong safety. Like, you have pieces in place for a very solid campaign from this defense.
Well, and just keep in mind that, and I know we're not talking about all seven, but Carolina's front seven made Josh Gordon look good.
Josh Norman, yeah.
Norman, sorry, you're right. I'm wrong one. I was close. I had two letters off. But Josh Norman. They made Josh Norman look like the Redskins picked him up because he was a shutdown corner. Well, no, he wasn't a shutdown corner. He only had to cover for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. So, yeah, that makes a lot. So, I'm not so much – if we can shore up the front seven, then – and I think we got some talent with Kendall Fuller, Fabian
Moreau, Ronald Darby. There's some outside talent there, yeah.
And Jimmy Moreland. I think we got some secondary potential. And if we can have – I want the front seven to come together and just be a line-crushing front seven. So our secondary is going to look brilliant because they're going to have very low ball. They're going to have interceptions because guys are going to be throwing the ball away in desperation. This is my hope. I know it could not happen, but that. But yeah, you're right. Reuben Foster. I just think that it's building up to a potential, and then to add Jack Del Rio, to a guy that knows how to run defense. to have that much talent. I'm very, very excited that and hopeful that he does the same thing he did with Denver and
Oakland.
Sorry, Oakland. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No, I'm right there with you, and it's very fun to see this potential in this defense, and I hope this is not just another win in the offseason, the Super Bowl of the offseason every year. I hope that this translates into something really special this season. But there was 2 defenders on our team that opted out for the 2020 season. We talked about both of them in the past, Caleb Brantley and Josh Harvey Clemens. Today, I want to see who will take their place because I had both of these both of these players making our team.
Right.
So I don't know if you have any strong opinions on who's going to make instead of these players, but I can go ahead with mine if you don't have.
No, you go ahead. I don't have a strong. I don't have a strong opinion about it. So let's go off of what you're.
Gotcha. So Caleb Brantley opting out. I think this opens the door for a potential surprise in Ryan B. Okay, he's another defensive.
What does the B stand for?
BEE. Yeah. Stings like a bee. No.
Little dad humor there. Sorry.
There you go. He is 6'7", 280 pounds. So clearly a nice long defensive end.
Sounds like a little guy.
Yeah, he had some flashes in the preseason last year where he had 14 tackles and a sack throughout the preseason. He was flying around. And he only played 1 regular season game last year. He didn't do much. But I think this is a guy that could be a hard-nosed hustle guy trying to make a team, clearly got the size, and he may be able to add 15, 20 pounds onto him and take another defensive line role because Caleb Brantley was more of a true D tackle or like an interior defensive lineman, right, where this guy's clearly built more like a defensive end as we speak today.
You're talking about second string, right? Like a fill-in, like.
Oh yeah, Ryan B is not. And I had Caleb Brantley as a rotational guy, like coming off the bench.
I just want to clarify things.
So no, this is not a guy that is fighting for your starting position, but I think that he could be a very interesting rotational guy for you. And looking at the rest of the team, I think this guy has the best chance of making the team, and this is who I am going to predict right now that will take Caleb Brantley's spot on defense.
Yep, makes sense. I can't argue with that.
There you go. And for Josh Harvey Clemens, this now clearly opens the door for our 5th-round draft pick, Khaleke Hudson, who I just didn't quite see an opening.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, for him on the team. And losing a linebacker like Josh Harvey Clemens, a backup linebacker, I think this is a perfect spot for Khaleke Hudson to now make our squad. He's a 5th-round draft pick for Ron Rivera, so clearly Ron Rivera and Kyle Smith like him. They think that they could potentially use him, and they have now an opening for him. So I'm excited for Khaleke Hudson. I think he's going to be able to make a spot on this team now pretty easily. I think it's his spot to lose.
Yep.
So
hey, no, I remember you saying you weren't very excited with him. I know that the last half of the draft, the first half you liked a lot, and then the back half went down dramatically, and I know he was one of them. But
yep.
Hey, you're right. He's got an opportunity. He's got to take advantage of it. Work his butt off and be successful or not.
I'm right there with you. Yep. So, and I don't know where you put him quite. Like, do you carry a 5th safety now instead of putting him in the linebacker? He was a hybrid in college, so maybe you kind of put him in both rooms. I don't know where they've put him so far in the Zoom meetings and things, like where, like what he is actually. I know he's listed on the roster as a linebacker, so I would assume that he is in that linebacker role. But I know he's more built closer to a safety, so I hope that he's also learning that position on top of the linebacker spot.
Well, Ron Rivera is all about diversity. He likes players that can play more than one position. So if it's a possibility, you got to believe they're grooming them to play multiple positions. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't being I can't think of a better word, groomed for
trained,
safety.
Practiced,
yeah.
Taught both positions. Yep.
Right, because I know Ron is all about diversity. The more people he has that can do multiple things, he loves that, and rightfully so. It's like being able to have depth where, hey, I can plug this guy in over here, depending on what the need is. It's a good thing to have. So,
For
but yeah,
sure.
it'll be interesting to see.
For sure. All right. Well, that is the Redskins topics for the day. And I would like to give the weekly wrap up of the Nats. I'm assuming you still have not started to watch it yet because it's not playoffs.
I have not.
Correct. So,
and let me be honest with you too, that I don't come through Comcast Sportsnet or I don't pay attention to the schedule. I'm not saying that I wouldn't watch them if I happened to catch them, but historically I don't do that until the last half of the season anyway, where I start paying attention to the record. That just hasn't happened yet. And because of all this craziness is going on, I don't have occasion to be sitting in a sports bar where the TV is on, because if it was on, I'd be paying attention to it.
Right.
So.
I'm right there with you. So, but we left off last week with a 4-4 record. We had come back from the bad 1-4 start to get back to 500, and there was a game going on against the Mets. Well, Scherzer ended up leaving after just one inning. He had some leg problems, I believe it was, and it turned into a bullpen night. And the bullpen did allow 2 extra runs, so we ended up allowing 3 runs on the night because Scherzer allowed a run in the first inning. And you would like to see some offense try to overcome that, but we only had 5 hits on the night, and we ended up losing the game 3-1.
Yeah, that's hard for any pitching staff to. Not impossible, but yeah, if you're only scoring 1 run, odds aren't very good.
Well, yeah, a 3 ERA is not bad. It's not winning you any awards, but it's still not bad. And so if you allowed 3 runs in a game, you want to win those games. And that did not happen. So then we play the Orioles. And speaking of offense, there was none in this game. They only had 4 hits, 0 runs, and we end up losing this game 11-0 because Anibal Sanchez just got rocked for 5 earned runs in 5 innings, 5 and a third inning, 10 hits. Like, it's Anibal Sanchez did not have a good day, and of course Doolittle also allowed a run. Like, it's bad for Doolittle, but we'll talk about him in this next game because
I was going to say just that you win very few games where you score 0 runs.
It makes it a lot tougher. I would say at least 95% of the time you lose if you have 0
yeah. Yeah, maybe even 96.
Yeah. So they then played the Orioles again, and there was a little bit of offense, but Doolittle again gets rocked for 2 more runs in just a third of an inning. Like, why? Why are they doing this? Like, he is currently sitting right now at 15 ERA as a closer. That's abysmal.
He's, to me, and I'm not an expert, he's a little bit too one-dimensional. And yes, he's got movement on his fastball, but really and again, this is my opinion, could be wrong, I am often, but that he's got a couple of different fastballs, and he relies on the movement of the fastball, and if the movement's not there, then it doesn't matter how fast you're pitching it, the batter's going to be on it.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get his movement, then he can't keep the batter off balance, and he's either lights out because he's got movement, or they're going to score runs against him, and sometimes a lot because he's throwing heaters right over the plate.
Yeah, it's happening, right? He's going through one of those streaks because every single game I'm looking at the box score, and it's like Doolittle allows a run, Doolittle allows a run, Doolittle allows a run. Like, it's terrible. And then Hudson, the other closer that we had last year, didn't do any better because he allowed 3 runs. So we lose this game 5-3 with all 5 runs coming against our closers. Like, we need these. Like, stop allowing these runs. I mean, that's tough. You know, you got your 3 runs this game. Your pitcher played fine. Like, it was Voth, and he went 5 innings, no runs. It's like, okay, sweet, not bad. And then you bring in your closers to finish this game. Destroyed. Great. So this also got suspended towards the end, so we didn't get a chance to finish this game. But still, I mean, the damage was already done by our closers. Now, last night, the offense finally figured out something because they went crazy for 16 runs. Cabrera had 2 home runs. Turner and Soto both had 1 home run. We had 17 hits, 16 runs off 17 hits. Like the offense was clicking last night. So we end up winning this 16-4. Of course, Doolittle allows another run, but even he can't blow a 14-0 lead this season. Okay,
I don't know.
I was looking at the. You ever see those? You know the probability charts.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, by the 7th inning, we're at 99.9.
Yeah.
Up 14-0. Yeah, it was.
Well, and I remember that was one of the fun things about watching the Nats last year is how many times in games would it be close, and then suddenly they'd have a 6, 7, 8 run inning where it was just like hit after hit after hit after hit, and it was so fun to just watch. You have a nail biter for 6 innings or 7 innings, and then boom, and suddenly it's a what was a 2-1 game or a 3-2 game was now a 9-2 game or 9-3 game, and that was very fun to watch. And hopefully they'll find that. Although I think some of the magic's gone with Baby Shark guy, and his name just Anibal.
Oh no, it's not Anibal.
What is his
Aruba
name?
Pereira.
No, Pereira.
No.
Yeah.
Pereira. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I think he was part of the catalyst that loosened up that bench. And by the time when they really started to kick it in, those guys had each other's back, and that was a team. And I'm not saying that they can't get that back again, but they need to kind of get that magic of just the little things with Kendricks and what's his name that would do the race car after a home run.
The second baseman, right? Crap, you put me on the spot.
No, I see his face. No, I'm not. Because I can't think of his name either. But I know I can see. Starts with a D. Hold on, I'm gonna try to remember it. Maybe I can't, but
of course he didn't play last game.
But yeah, just things like that where they loosened up. Oh, what the hell? I can see his face, and I can't think of his name. So.
Little white guy. What's his name?
Are you talking about? You're not talking about the shortstop, right? Trey Turner.
No, not Trey Turner.
No, I know it's not. It starts with. I want to say it starts with a D, and it's right on the tip of my tongue. But.
Or maybe he was just doing it with him. Is it Defo?
Mm-mm.
Okay, no, it was the short little white guy. Hold on, what's his name? I'm looking for him. Hold on.
Or was it the first baseman? See, now I'm gonna.
No, it was not first baseman.
We've wasted way too much time. Now people are going. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I know. We can't remember this dude's name.
But now, in typical men fashion, we have something, and
we have to look for it.
FEZ. So it was Kendrick, and what was the other guy? Hold on. Assuming he's still. Was it Eaton?
Adam Eaton. Thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Adam Eaton.
That was my.
Could not think of who it was.
I was thinking of Dozer, but it wasn't Dozer. It was Adam Eaton.
Yeah, it was Adam Eaton. That's exactly who it was.
So. But just those kind of things of those uniting, what's the word? Not uniting, but where it's like the team comes together.
Chemistry and things.
Fun.
Yeah.
Chemistry. Yep. They're relaxed. They're having fun. And so many times, even through their run to the World Series, it was so many times they were down and they seemed to stay relaxed. They just were like, our time will come. If it does, it either will or it won't. But getting tight is not going to
stay in the fight.
Yep.
That was the mantra.
And getting tense, regardless of whether you win or lose, getting tense is not going to help.
Nope.
You have to relax, and they really came together in the last 25 games of the season, and then through the playoffs. I will say this, not unlike the year the Capitals won, where they seemed so many times to be down, either 0-2, 1-2, down in games, and they just kept finding a way to win when it was critical, and then they ended up at the end. And I
Yeah,
see
we
a
were
lot of
losing in
parallels.
every series that year for the Caps. Every single
Yeah,
series we were down at some point, whether it be 2-0 as you said or 1-0 against the Golden Knights in the championship. We went down 3-2 to Tampa Bay. After being up 2-0, we went down 3-2. Yeah,
yeah.
so and then we beat
And did
the Penguins.
I'm wondering about the Nats now? Did they? I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't. I can't say certainly
No,
that it was every series.
we swept the Cardinals
That's
last
what I
year.
knew. Yeah, but a lot of the games, like the Dodgers, I think we were down.
Yes,
Um,
Dodgers were definitely down. We were down in the wild card game against the Brewers. We
yep,
were down like 7-3, and we came back and won that game 8-7.
right.
Yep.
So I just think that there is something about stay loose, stay relaxed, have each other's back, and good things happen. And we've been fortunate enough, as bad as the Redskins have hurt us over the last 20 years, given us glimpses, but not been there. But to be fortunate enough over the last 3 years to have, well, and if you count the Mystics, which, in all fairness, I'm not a WNBA watcher. I barely watch the NBA, so it's not necessarily anything against
Yeah.
them. But to have 3 championships, what, in 4 years, 5 years? It's, I mean, we're very
No,
fortunate.
2018, 2019, and 2019. If you include the Mystics, yeah, 2019 was the Mystics. Uh, they just won it last year. Nats just won it last year,
Yeah,
and
but
the Caps won
I
it
thought
2018.
I thought the Capitals were 2 years before the Nats.
Nope, it was just last year, 2018, or 2 years ago rather.
Are you sure? Okay, I
Yeah,
have to
because
look it up.
The Blues won it last year. Um, but no, it was 2 years ago for the Capitals.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you, but I got the internet, so I'm
Oh,
gonna look it up.
you want to argue with me?
Well, if I'm right, I do. But yeah, you're right. 2018.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, you're right. That's one in a row.
Maybe.
But no, that feeling, and I know we've talked about this before. You haven't had the feeling that I was able to with the Redskins being good and
Hmm.
the RFK battles where just the battles with Dallas and the NFC. I think it was the playoff game that they were trying to get to the NFC Championship, and all the fans in RFK, the stands are literally rocking. You can see them shaking up and down, yelling, "We want Dallas!" And Dallas came in, and the Redskins beat them, and it was basically like, "You're coming in." The crowd was like, "We want you," and the Redskins were that good, where they just. And Dallas was good back then too. It wasn't like a pushover, but it was a great game. But the Redskins were good, and we haven't had that in since '92,
The
I think.
91-92 season, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about 28 years since the glory of, yeah, about a year before you were born. So,
Yep.
hey, you could be an LA Rams, or I guess it was St. Louis Rams at the time you tried to latch on to them. But
Yeah, the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf. I do like
yeah,
Kurt Warner still. I still like Kurt Warner.
I have no problem with him. I do remember the year the Redskins beat them. It's odd how you have memory. I can't remember what year it was, but I actually went to Virginia to a computer show to buy a computer, the components to put a computer together. And I was listening to the game coming back from Virginia, and the Redskins were actually winning. And I thought, okay, against Kurt Warner and the Rams, how is this happening? So, but anyway,
All right. Well, that's a show. Unless you got anything else to add.
I can't think of anything else to add. I know the whole thing about the live national anthem. I didn't want to touch on that just in case Valerie listens.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not going to have live national anthem singers, but they're still having the national anthem, so that's good.
Correct.
But
Yeah, they're just gonna have it as a recording instead of a live performance.
oh, and one last note, I don't know if I mentioned this to you that our season tickets, we have the gold ticket, the fast lane, whatever you call it, ticket, and in a conversation with the sales guy about how they were going to handle it, is one of the possibilities is that they're going to only allow the gold tickets in the game. But they haven't made up their mind. I'm not saying I think that's going to happen, but it's something to. I thought, yeah, that might be a chance to keep the opposing fans out of the stadium.
For real, that's interesting. Yeah.
So I don't know how many people have them. So you might be talking about 20, 25% of capacity. But I'm going to tell you right now, and anybody out there listening, if the Redskins have a game and they allow me to be there, I will be there. And if they allow me not to wear a mask, I'm not going to wear a mask. So there you go. Hate me. There's the first. There's the first thumbs down.
Oh, you're definitely gonna have to wear a mask. There's no doubt on that.
Well, okay.
Okay. Yeah, no doubt you're gonna have to wear a mask. That's a given.
Not outside. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't care what. I can give you probably hundreds of scientists that I've read about that says it's the silliest thing in the world. So anybody that tells you that they're following the science and that I'm not has not done their research, because I've done a lot of research, and I'm not listening to my former drunk high school buddy, which I've seen memes saying anybody that doesn't believe in a mask is obviously listening to their old friend from high school. And it's like, trust me, do the research. It's there.
Well,
but anyway.
I don't care about what research you've seen, is that they are not allowing you in there without a mask to then end up contracting coronavirus, and then you get to sue them because you did not make people wear masks. Like, it's just not happening. It's just like the national anthem. It's just, no matter what, they're going to do whatever the mainstream says because they don't want to get sued over it. So there's no way you're getting in there without wearing a mask. It's just not happening.
unless they come out with the vaccine that so many people are going to want to take.
Yeah, it's supposed to be potential for September. I know that I haven't seen lately what the trials are saying, but I did see that like some of them were having a goal to aim for September, like the one in England and the one in Germany. So there's potential that right around the corner.
They said one in Russia. I heard today that one in Russia has been approved. Not that I'm saying that I would have any faith in that whatsoever. But...
Been approved by who? Vladimir?
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah.
Take it.
And watch it be just like some coconut oil or something like. Yeah. He just doesn't want to hear his people complain. Like, I gave you vaccine. What more do you want?
I'm guessing it's going to be a shot of morphine.
Yeah.
All right, enough political talk. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sticking around to the end. Put your comments down there. Like the video. Share with your friends. Do everything. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. And till next time. See ya.
See ya.